We just wanted to share what made Affix Inspires happen. This is, of course, a project made especially for you. Just this year, we formulated and concretized this event to reignite your interest and renew your enthusiasm to reach for your dreams. COVID has made a mess of, for all of us, whether it's affected your daily routines, loved ones, schedules, and more. It's been difficult for sure, one way or another. So we wanted to provide everyone here with support and help you guys redirect yourselves from these predicaments to the goals you've always aspired to achieve. We hope the talks we have in store for you today will inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and grab the opportunity to hone your innate gifts. Don't let anything stop you from moving forward. This event was made precisely because we believe in you. And with that, AFIX could not have made this as successful without the help of our partner IDSI. So I will now give the floor to one of our co hosts, Austin.
So I'm representing Integrated Development Studies Institute. It's a Manila-based think tank that works with a global network of organizations and researchers promoting productive and constructive viewpoints for the 21st century Filipino, global Filipino. In today's world, I'm sure you have, you read the news, you read the social media. There's so many challenges, but as well as a lot of opportunities. And our event today promotes the message of blending Western and Eastern cultures to propel our 21st century success. No, so I studied in UP Diliman. I also studied in Beijing and northeastern Boston. So I am also one of your friends who would like to share the details and the experiences from all over the world, no? And this is actually our biggest challenge right now, no? Although pandemic is also the immediate challenge, we also know many parts of the world are also recovering and already opening their economies. And what are we going to be facing? Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Study finds 65% of Pinoy graduates are not employable. It's called an asymmetrical information, no? The skill sets, the majors that we're doing, how are they aligned and how are they in demand in the global marketplace, global economic and social development, no? So our speakers, their experiences, no, from all over the world and sharing it with us today is a big privilege for us, no? Can everyone see my slide? 1 million graduates face bleak future. No, that's every year. No, of course, the fact that we are here on this afternoon, Saturday afternoon, means we are already the more ambitious group. No, so hopefully we can not only learn from our speakers but also learn from each other. We also had a bit of a short survey, no, on our RSVP. It's amazing, the listeners, they want to be ambassadors, they want to be government ministers, they want to be CEOs. Principal Dory Powa, some of them want to take over their principal and president's position in a few years now. So maybe you can give us some tips. Mr. George C., some of them want to be the CEO of their companies that they're working in. We also have a lot of friends who are who would like to or considering switching careers, no, from education or maybe even their majors that they'll be graduating. They're considering maybe other careers are also available for them, no? But our biggest competition is actually not each other, but Google, no? So as you know, a lot of our services, activities are being overtaken by technology. So we learn a lot more from Mr. Felix Teng of Fiber Home, one of the most innovative global technology companies in the world, no? Just to share, no, this is just a very general. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule. No, these are very generalized. What's the right word? Description, no, between the Asian values and the Western values. We see the Asian values, at least the traditional Asian values, are more harmonious, blending. They don't speak out in public compared to the more Western individual perspective or framework, no. And of course, as you know, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, actually advocates that we turn our enemies into our friends. No, and as you know, the Hollywood movies like Captain America is, destroy the enemies, annihilate the enemies. The Chinese, Japanese, the South Koreans, of course, Filipino. We actually have blessed position because we actually transcend the Western and Eastern cultures. No, the Asian values look more long term. No, some people say more practical, right? More win-win, right? They also trade and expand relations even with enemies. Whereas the Western values, they say, is more individualistic perspective, no?
So, introducing our first speaker, she led the modern transformation of Chiang Kai shek, the school that produced Henry C., Du Tan, and Tony Tan Kak Yong. She studied in UP Diliman, Stanford, and Peking University, and taught advanced Chinese in Stanford, Australia, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. A well loved educator by her teachers and students. Let's all give it up for Dr. Dory Poa.
Before we have Dr. Dory Poa speak, we'll share a 5-minute CNN profile. She was profiled by CNN, so we'll be sharing that in a bit.
This is Christian, one of our best students, and he is pure Filipino.
Yung father ko, amazed po siya sa quality ng math ng Chiang Kai-shek, and gusto niya rin po ako mag-aral ng Chinese for future use.
你嚟看什麼啊？
Son ko.
三國? Wow, 三國. So I'm sure you know your Chinese is a lot better than so many of your, same grade level.
Well, at first mahirap since wala po ako nung pinaka-basic Chinese foundation. Pero with hard work and perseverance, kaya naman po yan, maka-cope up and minsan compete na din with other Chinese students.
We get to know more about educator Dory Poa with a quick round of questions.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Chinese literature.
What was your worst subject?
Math.
What is your favorite Chinese New Year tradition?
Getting together with the family and eating some food that we don't normally eat.
What are the Chinese traits that you're most proud of?
Very hardworking and frugal, and sometimes it's very practical.
What would you say are the best Filipino traits?
Filipinos are very accommodating, very patient.
Favorite Filipino food?
Sinigang and adobo. And lechon.
Dory comes from a family of educators, which inspired her to pursue a career in the same field.
My father used to be also a principal of a Chinese school. My mother used to be also a teacher and then Chinese teacher. I love Chinese literature. I was reading novels during the class, not listening. And then we look up to our teachers.
You really respect
we respect them, and then this is what we wanted to be. It
was a dream for you to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Even if your parents didn't force you.
I never thought of doing anything else. Actually, when I started teaching when I graduated from Chinese senior high, I taught in elementary first. I actually taught in Grace Christian High School.
Yes.
I taught there for almost 10 years. I taught in elementary and then high school. And then after I finished my BA degree in our college, Chinese literature, I went to UP to take up Asian Studies, Masters in Asian Studies. And then I started teaching also Chinese there at the Asian Center.
You did your doctorate at Stanford University in the US, and you lived around the world. You taught also language course, Chinese around the world.
I taught because after I finished my fellowship there, then I was actually teaching the advanced Chinese at Stanford.
And you taught in the US, Taiwan, Hong Kong. You were in Australia. What made you decide to come back?
To retire.
You're supposed to, retire, but you're not retired. Busier than ever.
Yeah.
So you came back in 2012.
I became busier. Because I was telling my husband, we're talking about, I've been working since I was 19 and teaching, and then, it's about time we should retire and then we should do some gardening, relax, But then this is my retirement.
You've done so much. You've reformed the education system here. Where do you see Chiang Kai-shek going? I mean, do you have other plans?
The way I look at it, like we should really keep up with the time. So our logo now is like we are bridging to the 21st century education. Especially we are in so-called the Chinatown, and Chinatown usually are very conservative, but then we're just trying to. I think we cannot stay like that to be competitive, you know.
You also started an international baccalaureate this last year.
Yes. We are on our second year. My main motivation is also to let the other teachers and students and parents see that education, you know, the approach or learning can be fun, you know, and also it should not be just memorization and just grades. The most important is for the kids to learn, and then for them to be an independent learner, and then to love learning.
Yes.
Yeah. And teaching should also be fun.
Well, I've been working with her since 2013 when she became our president, and she's a very focused person. She knows what she's doing. She's really determined. The campus has really transformed from what used to be, let's say, major old structures into something more modern now and really suited for the needs of our students.
What gives you most fulfillment in this vocation?
I just to go out there in the campus and see all the kids running around playing, and sometimes they come and hug me and say, "Oh, good morning, good afternoon, Dr. Poa." That will make my day.
Are there things that you're still hoping, you know, other dreams you want to pursue?
I just want to go back to farming.
Farming, yeah. So that's really what
I love to grow my own vegetables, you know. Raise my own chicken.
You have quite a legacy you're leaving behind you. How would you describe your profile?
I'm a teacher, and I'm a good teacher, I can say that. But then I spend also a lot of time preparing for my teaching. I really love teaching, and I love to see my students learning and then liking what I'm imparting them.
You are an inspiration. Thank you very much, Dory.
Thank you also. That's right. Thank you.
Perfect.
Hello, everybody. Thank you from Singapore. I'm now in Singapore. For your information, actually, I have retired from Chiang Kai-shek, and I'm right now in Singapore. And actually, I'm actually a product of Chiang Kai-shek, because I finished my senior high school, college, BA degree there. And so I'm not gonna say much because I'm only given 5 minutes to share some inspirational whatever here is from a Chinese saying because here for our college students. So you want me, Austin, do you want me to start with this?
Yes,
proverbs,
go ahead.
Chinese proverbs.
Sure.
Well, yeah. First, you see, I'm pretty sure some of you, especially the Chinoy, you might recognize all these characters. Like the first two characters, chuku means literally means to eat bitterness, you know, and that means like it doesn't mean you really have to eat the bitterness. It means like you have to be persevere in doing what you want to do. And so just like in Chinese, it said 吃得苦中苦，方为人上人. You have to be persevere in order to be successful. The second one is very interesting because like if anybody has taken Chinese medicine, Chinese herbal medicine, and it's usually very bitter. But the Chinese would say, yeah, it's bitter because it's good for your health. So it's an analogy that whatever, sometimes people give you criticism and it's very difficult to take, but it's good for you. But a lot of time our young people now, some young people, they're not really good at taking this kind of criticism, but a lot of time it's good for you. So this is what we call 良药苦口. This one is also interesting, and I'm sure those who have learned Chinese would have learned this in your school. Like as long as it just needs like hard work to grind an iron rod into becoming a needle. So 只要功夫深 So it means you have to persevere in order you can even make an iron rod into a needle. And next, do I do this? Share screen next. So next is also about patience and persistence, like 水滴石穿. So if you the water, dripping water, hollows out stone, and not through force but through persistence. So whatever you do, you persist. And next, do I do this? Actually, it's not Mr. Sai. Sai means Sai Wong Shi Ma. This is very, very popular Chinese saying that somebody in the border, living in the border of China or whatever, and at that time it was an ancient time. He lost his horse, but then everybody came to say, okay, to condolence him, say, okay, we're really sorry to hear that you lost your horse, because at that time it was a very important, it's almost like losing a lot of money. But then he said, well, how do you know that it's not going to be a blessing? So a lot of time when we meet any kind of like not so, some difficulties or some whatever hindrance to what you are doing, and you can say, okay, you never know, maybe. So what happened in this story, a lot of time the Chinese proverb, the 4 characters proverb, it has a story behind it. So what happened is, like, after a few days, this his horse came back, with another horse. So he now has 2 horses. Next. However, this is also Chinese saying again, 4 characters, 机不可失. But if you are there, what I'm telling, this is about don't procrastinate. If there is an opportunity, if the opportunity is there, then you have to take it. Otherwise, opportunity might not come again. Next one. Okay. I think this is my favorite Chinese sayings. This is a quote from Mencius. What do I say? When heaven, sometimes you are going through, just like now, we're going through a lot of difficulties because of the pandemic. And a lot of time you have something planned, but then everything got ruined because, so you think that, okay, why is this happening to me? And then Mencius as an answer for that. Like, it's because when heaven is about to place a great responsibility on you, means you're the pick of the heaven, it will first frustrate your spirit and your will. It will exhaust your muscles and bones. It will expose you to starvation and poverty, and harass you with troubles and setbacks. And this is so that to stimulate your spirit and toughen your nature and enhance your ability, and so that you will be successful. And this is, I think, one of my most favorite quotes from Mencius. This is all the Chinese sayings that I would like to share with everybody. And I will be later on just answering questions. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Poa, for emphasizing the value and beauty of being multicultural and multilingual in our generation. And that is something to be proud of rather than fearful of.
That's true. I think most of our generations actually tend to forget the importance of culture and tradition, but that's also something that at least Dr. Poa was able to remind us. Thank you so much, Dr. Dory Poa.